What up again, random rockers? And this time we're talking about a better album than There's Downs, Us in the Night. Which, I mean, I didn't mind it, but if that's technically the worst that came out around my birthday weekend, then I'd say 2016. I'm at a good 27th. Music-wise, that is. And yeah. And this is definitely one of the highlights of that. Not one of the bigger highlights. I still have yet to hear Killswitch Engage Incarnate, but yeah. Yes, Brian Fallon, Painkillers, the solo debut. Since most of you probably know of his name since, well, the Gaslight Anthem. This was an album he actually been working on for a while, since right around the time before the last Gaslight Anthem album, Get Hurt, before they decided to go on hiatus. And it was kind of due time for that to happen anyway, so there you have that. And yeah, for the most part, I originally liked what I heard to begin with, and I still did the second time around. The third time, I still do enjoy this record, though now looking back on the lyrics of this, it's kind of depressing here and there. I understood Get Hurt was because, that was kind of a breakup or, dealing with divorce album, because he kind of lost, things happened with his wife that they divorced, and he just didn't understand more on her than him. And he's just kind of like, why? And that was what that was about. Some of those tracks that maybe have been left over, I guess, kind of came onto this record. And other tracks, some were kind of tracks he had worked on with producer of this album, Butch Walker, and some other guy, whose name is Dan Wilson. Name is familiar, just can't put a face to it. I don't know I guess it might have had something to do with Gaslight Anthem. Maybe those are the songs I'm talking about when it came to tracks that might have been left over from Get Hurt. And other than that, I mean, some of them are a little bit like noir swagger kind of vibes, which is usually what Gaslight Anthem is known for anyway. And for the most part, this is very Gaslight Anthem-ish. Not so much his other project, The Horrible Crows. There's some tracks that do stand out a little bit more because they do explore into certain things that maybe Gaslight Anthem never bothered to do, such as the use of steel pedal guitar. Steel guitar pedal. Pedal steel, I think, is the term to be used from Josh Keller from The Horrible Crows, I believe. Yeah, I think that should be about right. For the most part, it's been Brian Fallon and Butch Walker, Catherine Popper, and fellow engineer for the album, Mark Strappo, for like drums usually. I know I forgot what stuff she's been in, but she was some pretty good stuff. And a lot of them are just some cheesy either love songs or kind of sort of weird some semi-depressing breakup songs that for some reason don't sound so much like it, as they sound more up and cherry, which can be somewhat deceitful. I mean, and it's also ironic that the album title he chooses to follow up Gaslight Anthem's Get Hurt, it happens to be titled Painkillers. Well, Painkillers was originally planned beforehand, but just the fact that it's all the more ironic that it's called Painkillers after you just had an album with your old band recently called Get Hurt. Hurt, pain, painkillers. Nobody? Whatever. Nobody wants to do their drum thing. If you did, comment below on that as well. As far as Wonderful Life was, I think, the lead single, which leads off this album, and it's pretty solid for what it is. I'm not really sure I want to get in the lyrics for that one. But for some reason, Among Other Foolish Things is one that really kind of does show up a little bit of cheese, but it is kind of clever as opposed to just like cringeworthy. At least for me, I guess. Some people may find them cringeworthy anyway, but let's just go through examples of, tracks like mostly the somewhat chorus of like, and they say such foolish things as love, 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 love is all you need, but everything inside is saying danger, baby, love's gonna leave. So I beg your sympathy, have mercy on me, because I've been hurt, I've been stunned by the good name of love, till I threw my own heart in the sea, among other foolish things. Does the same thing, so beg, be patient. A lot of some of the instrumentation is kind of all combined and lumped in together as one, and it doesn't. Feels like you can't always pick them out, and maybe that is a flaw, but it's not a massive flaw. It's just does enough to kind of bring an upbeat and obtuse energy to it, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I'm not sure if that's accurate in and of itself, but yeah. Long drives, I think some kind of get a little brutal, I think. Get a little almost creepy, like smoke comes off, like mentioning something about revenge or something. And Steve McQueen, just some kind of weird love story about how they were more like Steve McQueen or something, even though it sounds more like a Smokey and the Bandit and the one chick that was with the Bandit all the time. Which was played by Sally Field. I'm hearing that was a big part of why Burt Reynolds really even enjoyed doing Smokey and the Bandit, if I remember that correctly at all. And some tracks are clearly, obviously, meant to be somewhat depressing. I mean, Nobody Wins. That doesn't sound very uplifting, despite it's coming off as such the moment the track hits, in a way. Red Lights, just some dude just living a fast and furious life to the extent where everyone's just kind of to give in. The best way you can find a way to meet up with this chick is just, stopping that, see if this thing, this love he has for her means anything by only just stopping at a red light. To the extent of fearing that if he stopped or slowed down, he would end up on one of his own accuser's knives or something weird like that. Long drives, just having someone around to just I guess have fun with, just to kind of take the edge off. Fun on long drives, of course. Magnolia, I'm trying to figure out if this is from the chick's perspective or if it's from his perspective or a mix of the two. Either way. And then Mojo Hand is it's kind of supposed to be a weird, funny song, I guess. And it's the one song that is very non-Gaslight Anthem-like. Just the way it comes off is something that Gaslight Anthem has never done in this context. And of course it's mostly Brian Fallon and producer Butch Rocker all over the instrumentation of this track, and vocally and everything. So that might have something to do with it as well. Oh boy. I think a girl got a mojo hand or something. And all the boys in town want her bad. Like, just basically something about her having this sort of ability to please guys and touch their hand, or at least, for certain particular reasons. And eventually just had enough of the bull crap and just decided to say, I had enough of this Mojo Hand bullshit. And it's to the point where some people just were willing to crawl up through windows and doors just to get to her, just to experience this whole little word of mouth thing about how she can pretty well has the mojo hand, or the kind of hand that, works for them to get off on, I guess, or whatever. Like, that kind of knows how to do a job, I guess. And more like a hand that knows how to do a hand job. Better than them. It's like, I don't see how that's something. I guess that was a big deal in the like 60s or something for like noirs type stuff, but for today's, it's like the Mojo Hand did so much more than just wank you off. I don't know. But he had enough of hearing that bullshit, and was like, I'm done with this Mojo Hand crap. I'm see ya. It's kind of how it's off. Open all night. I don't know. I think honestly one of my favorites lyrically that I could think of. I guess might as well have been like other Long Drives, or Mojo Hand just out of its humor, and then it just sounds different from Gaslight Anthem in and of itself, but not so far off that it doesn't seem to make sense for Brian Fallon anyway. But among other foolish things, was just comes off kind of clever in a cheesy way. Wonderful Life was a good startup single, and just all in all, as far as this album is concerned, is it the best thing that they've ever done, that he's ever done, or that even for Gaslight Anthems type stuff? It's nothing new outside of Mojo Hand. It's this kind of hashing out the same type of stuff. But the real question is in terms of some of its execution and some of the instrumentation, it definitely makes it far more worth it, and in the sort of tone that this album has, despite the lyrics being of a different direction, which I think is the oddest thing is having certain things of saying those kind of complaints about this album. I still had fun with it. Some albums can come off as a beautiful mess, and yeah. Brian Fallon, Painkillers, as far as a debut album is concerned, especially with Butch Walker, a man who nearly just was part of the reason that destroyed Weezer, and it took Everything Will Be Alright in the end for them to come back from. Yeah. And of course, apparently one Katy Perry album and some other shit. So yeah, Fallon and Walker, y'all did good. 12 amazing tracks. And yeah, definitely deserves. I had fun with it, despite some of its depressing lyrics, and yeah, definitely deserves a spot. It's definitely one of the best albums of the year. For sure. What do you guys think of the solo debut of Brian Fallon of Gaslight Anthem and his album Painkillers? Comment below, let me know. Check out my Facebook for early reviews, and to keep posted on when I'm going to probably release some of these reviews on there. If you'd rather watch it there, though I would rather you watch it on YouTube instead, as whatever views you may see on there, they don't show up on here all that well. So just check out, go click the link and go here. If you like this video, rock that like button. And as always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. And until Batman v Superman, which I had promised before, well, thought was this week, but apparently it's next week. I got my dates mixed up, I guess. There's nothing new with films this week that was all that interesting that you could easily be able to find. I wanted to see this one film that had the one chick from Big Bang Theory in it or something. Sounded interesting for what it was. Trying to compare it to their own Rocky. I'm like, I don't know about that, but I'm curious on that. Well, I'm not. I'll see it. I'll see it. I guess. But till then, keep rocking. I'll see you next time.